Hey guys, this is a quick tutorial video to learn how to connect an IP address with a domain name. So let's suppose that you already have the elastic IP address for your AWS server, and it could be something like 25.68.558.145, and anything, and it could be any IP address. So this, let's suppose this is your elastic IP address, which where your program is running on the AWS, and then you would have a domain name which has to point to that particular IP address. So let's say you have a domain name called reporting.clientname.com. So let's suppose you want to connect this domain name to that IP address. So the first thing which you need to do is you need to ping that domain name. You need to ping this, and you need to make sure that it translates into the IP address which is for your server. So we need to make sure that this domain name is the a record has been added by the client or someone who owns the domain name to point to your IP address. So let's suppose if I ping something like one of my projects, hub.persistence.ai. So we can see that when I ping this, it translates into an IP address, and this is the IP address for my server. So we have to make sure that the domain name is pointing to the IP address. If this doesn't work, then you first need to get this fixed before starting the next step. So once you have this in order, the next thing you do is you log into your AWS server and you type in this command, which is sudo apt-get install python 3 hyphen certbot hyphen apache. Now this is in cases where you're using Python and Apache as your web server. You could also be using nginx, nodejs, things like that. So for that you would have an alternate like this. So this is for nginx. So similarly, you can just Google and find out how to use certbot for your particular applications, whichever you are using. So once you have the certbot application installed, next thing you need to do is the second command, which is sudo certbot space double hyphen apache. Oh, also, before this second command, you need to update your config file. So let me quickly open up the config file, the nginx or apache config file. Let me show you that. So we are in one of my projects on the server, where we have gone to the directory that is etc apache to sites available. So I usually use Apache. If you're using nginx, then this would be nginx over here. So this is the conf file, the original conf file which we need to update. So if I do a cat over here, you can see that in this conf file I have the server name and server alias as the domain name. So we need to add these two lines. We need to add the domain name as a server name and server alias. So I think it's okay if you don't use server alias as well, if we are getting errors on nginx, because that is something I had noticed. So mainly we need the server name, and also we would require these WSGI lines. Now this is specific for Django and Apache, where if you want to have the SSL config created and the SSL certificate generated, we need to make sure these three lines are commented over here for WSGI, script alias, the daemon process, and the process group. So yeah, once we have that, what we need to do is we need to do the second command, which is sudo space certbot space double hyphen apache space hyphen d space your domain name, which could be something like this, persistence.ai. So once I enter this command, the application would ask me for an email registration. So you could enter our team authority email, which is this one, authority ghl at gmail.com. So you can use this email for registration of all of the SSL and domain name registration. So once you are done with this command, you would ideally get a success message. If you don't get the success message, then you would need to debug what's wrong. And normally there will be something wrong in your config file. So if you reset the Apache or Nginx, you should be able to find out where the error lies and where the problem is. It could be a syntax error or anything in your config file. So make sure to restart your nginx or Apache server once you have updated this config file with the server name and server alias. So yeah, once that is done and the 1 second command has been fired, you would a file would be created over here like this. So this was the name of your original conf file. This our certbot program will create this particular file over here. And if you do a cat over here, you can see the certificates got added automatically by the certbot. The everything is automatic. We don't need to do anything. We just need to use those two commands for running certbot, and the certificates files got added. And one last thing which we need to do is that we need to uncomment the WSGI lines which we had commented over here, because the thing is that two WSGI processes can't be running together. So we need to comment out the one in the other file. So this will be your main config file from now on. And once you have this, your domain name should be connected to your IP address, and it should also have the SSL certificate on it. So yeah, you could get stuck only at a couple of places. First one would be if your domain name is not pointing to your IP address. So make sure that is happening. And then there could be some errors in your config file, nginx or Apache config files. So make sure there are no errors. Yeah, I think I covered most of it. Yeah. So thanks for watching.